How's it going, everyone? I am the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scrub, but please just call me Bailey. And before I forget for another video, because I've forgotten for a couple now, if you have not entered the giveaway for Eames the Infinity with, I'm going to write a Yu-Gi-Oh! Haiku on the back of the sleeve. The sleeve, not the card, so I don't ruin the value of the card. But go enter the giveaway by going to the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Playground Progression, putting a comment, a number, 69 through 420 in the comments section. By probably the next episode, if not the one after that, of Yu-Gi-Oh! Playground Progression, they come out on Thursdays, I will be doing a random number generator, picking a winner, and I will send the card to the winner. Go enter that. It's a thank you for helping me get to 100 subs, 138 now, so I'm still climbing. Help me get to 1,000 so I can escape the Shadow Realm finally. That all being said, let's talk about this replay, not a live match today. Unfortunately, I'm sorry if you prefer the live matches, but this was a replay and it kind of invokes a discussion that's why I wanted to do. So let's talk about it as we click next play over and over, and you can hear my mouse because I don't have a silent mouse, I have a clicky mouse. So I am playing because I want to climb the ladder a little bit, and that's why I wasn't recording live either. A Stein OTK deck, I want to get back to a little bit higher rating, and Stein OTK plays very quick matches, and I think it's a pretty good win rate, so that's why I'm using it. I'm playing against what looks to be Chaos Warrior. He draws 2 Solemn Judgment, Rhoda, DD Warrior Lady Sasuke, and Blade Knight for his hand. He sets Rhoda, summons Sasuke. I draw Parshath, I True Nade for 1, then Reasoning, he calls 2, I think that's the right call, because if you True Nade for 1, you're likely playing like a Stein OTK deck. I hit Exile Force, it's in there so I can use Last Duel. We'll talk about it though, then we get to the deck profile. I Tribute the Parshath, I normal summon the Parshath so he doesn't think I'm using the Exile Force's effect, and I hit for 100 and draw a card. I end up drawing Premature Burial. He uses the Set Rhoda for Exiled Force and just gets over the Parshath with the Exiled Force. Now, I could have True Naded first, but I really wanted value, so I Premature Burial, targeting the Parshath. My plan was to do that, then use the Giant True Nade, so I could get a 2-for-1 from the Premature Burial. He ends up Judgmenting the Premature Burial, though, going to 3950 life points, and then I can just, from here, use True Nade, summon Cyberstein, activate Cyberstein, and Master of Oster-Game. So, very quick Game 1. Game 2, we are playing. I will be going second. Opening hands, he has Enemy Controller, Space Typhoon, Grandmaster Sasuke again, Nobleman of Extermination, T-Roar, and Kaiku. I have Scapegoat, 2 Chaos Orc, Monster Gate, and Snatch Steal. He summons Kaiku and sets 1 card. I was thinking at this point, Snatch Stealing and Monster Gate, but then I draw a second Scapegoat, and absolutely, I just want to get value from at least one of the Scapegoats, so I just set a Scapegoat and turn. He Space Typhoons. I chain Scapegoat, obviously, trading the Space Typhoon for a beautiful 4 blue goat tokens. He summons Sasuke and very rudely beats over 2 goat tokens. I draw a second Monster Gate, and this is basically where the discussion comes in. So we'll see here. We're going to go to the log just so we can view it. I activate Monster Gate, tribute token. So 556, tribute at 557. 602, I wait 5 seconds to start milling. I'm like, okay. So I mill a couple of cards, end up hitting Parshath. I've already used 1 Monster Gate, so I figured if he had a Judgment or something, he probably would have done it there if he was going to Judgment a Monster Gate, which I don't know if I would do, but he didn't there. So then, because I've already resolved 1 Monster Gate, I'm thinking, you know what, I can just go for another one pretty quickly. I use the Monster Gate at 622, remove the token 623, 625, start milling. So yes, I did it quicker than the 5 seconds last time, but you'll see I end up milling Royal Decree and Jinzo at 626. So ultimately he had 4 seconds if he wanted to do anything to say something. And I summon the Jinzo. That's when he goes, please wait, I have to chain to cost, which yes, you do. Obviously, you chain to the removal of the token before milling starts. And I kind of say, I use 1 Monster Gate, no response, I use another. Like, if you're afraid of the Jinzo, you would just use it after 1 Monster Gate, in my opinion. Just activate T-Roar right away. But whatever. I do return, and I actually realized I made a mistake here. I returned 1 Monster Gate because I thought I milled it, but then I realized no, it was a second. But it doesn't matter. I thought he was going to Judgment. In that case, the Monster Gate I top decked would have mattered, but it doesn't because he uses T-Roar. And that's when I'm like, really? You wait till you see the Jinzo to say, I want to use T-Roar. That's basically what I'm calling out. Because in any time you're playing against a Cyberstein OTK deck, you'd probably wait until you see the Stein, they pay 5,000, and then you use the T-Roar when they enter battle phase. Because you want them to use their life points. Now, I'm still at 8,000. Yes, obviously, if you think the Jinzo's going to come out, but like, I haven't seen a Cyberstein yet. I'm basically saying he would not have used the T-Roar unless he saw the Jinzo that quickly. Say I milled another 6 cards and then hit the Jinzo, I would be like, dude, you could have said wait at any point before then. Because I hit the Jinzo quickly, that's when I think he's like, oh, I actually wanted to go back and respond to the cost. So whatever, I just mill and summon the Jinzo. That's also why the Monster Gate didn't matter, because it ends up getting milled anyway. And I called a judge here because he ended up waiting for, like, let's see, what was it? Ended turn. Yeah, I waited for over a minute for him to actually click his turn. And the moment I hit call judge, he started playing again. So whatever. We start playing. He uses Nobleman of Extermination on my Scapegoat, uses Enemy Controller, gets rid of the Jinzo with the Sasuke, and just sets Call the Haunted and another T-Roar. I draw Royal Decree. Because I was afraid of Sakuretsu armor, I wanted to keep the big monster on the field, so I did not attack, and in the end phase, after he drew a Judgment, I just activate Royal Decree, so I'm in a very prominent and powerful position. I just get over the Kaiku with the Parshath, so I can start summoning those Chaos Sorcerers, though I do not have a Light Engrave, but I have a Dark in the Jinzo. I then Trunade here, because I drew Dimension Fusion for turn, and I like this line a lot. Metamorphosis, the Parshath, summon Dark Balter. Banish the Jinzo and Parshath for the Chaos Sorcerer. Dimension Fusion, the Jinzo and Parshath back. And then Snatch Steal. I mean, it's not like a hard line to see, but it's a pretty cool line. I like going for those aggressive lines to get the OTK. That's it. It was a quick match. It's Cyberstein OTK. Let's actually go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording, but we'll go and show off the deck profile in a sec. Here is the deck profile for what I call Aggro Pile. You could also call it Cyberstein OTK. More importantly, let me know what you think of the match. Was I in the right? Was I in the wrong? I absolutely think it could go both ways. I did play pretty quickly, though I think that after I used one Monster Gate, using the second one, I think it is a little understanding to play a bit quicker, because I've already resolved one Monster Gate. If I did for one, why would there suddenly be a difference for the second? And I also think that, say I milled 8 cards and spent 10 seconds milling those 8 cards, I don't think he would have changed Threatening Roar. Any reasonable person would have waited for Cyberstein to be used, pay 5,000, so I wouldn't be able to do it again. It's only, in my opinion, because he saw the Jinzo so quickly that he was then like, oh, I actually want to stop and use the Threatening Roar. But I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. And this is not trying to disgrace my opponent in any way. I mean, he is right to think a certain way, and I'm right to think a certain way. Let's talk about Cyberstein OTK. 2 Cyberstein. Criticize me all you want. I don't like 3. I think it can be kind of bricky. If you open 2, you are only ever going to use this effect once. Almost ever. I mean, sometimes, yes, Snatch Steal or Upstart Goblins might make that different, but most of the time, you're going to resolve Cyberstein and win in that turn, or if not, hopefully set up enough of a lock that your opponent just can't play the game. Also, 3 Megamorph and 2 Big Bang Shot to go with the Cyberstein. We're almost always going to be trying to go turn 2, summon Master of Oz, equip Megamorph, and attack for game. If there's a Goat token on the field, Big Bang Shot, or just sometimes a face-down defense position monster, you could maybe cut this to 1 and put in Cyberstein, but I like the 2 Big Bang Shot. 3 Last Will to help get into the Cyberstein from the deck. It's just a great card. Any deck that can run Last Will with a effect monster they really want to see will use Last Will. Also, the Exiled Force to help get into the Last Will combo, because Exiled Force can one of the few cards that will be able to tribute itself almost always right away. 3 Metamorphosis, because it's another card that can tribute a monster to activate Last Will, and Monster Gate being the final card that can activate Last Will by tributing a monster. 3 Reasoning, because if you're playing 3 Monster Gate, you're going to play 3 Reasoning, obviously. For cards to go into from Reasoning, 2 Sacred Crane, Parshath. You could also maybe cut the Parshath and put in a 3rd Sacred Crane just so you can draw more cards automatically and hopefully get closer to the Cyberstein OTK combo. 1 Jinzo, because we hate trap cards. Dark Magician of Chaos, because you're going to run it in a Reasoning Stein Monster Gate OTK deck. Blackluster Soldier and Chaos Sork, 2 of those. Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, and Snatch Steal and Premature Burial for the power spells and traps. No duo, because we want to keep our life points. Heavy Storm and 3 Trunade for spell and trap removal, just mass spell and trap removal. 3 Scapegoat, and finally 1 Dimension Fusion, just because it can kind of act as a secondary way to win the match. Sometimes, you summon Demok, you've milled this, you add it back, banish for Chaos Orchestra or Blackluster Soldier, special summon back a Parshath and Jinzo or Sacred Crane, draw a card. I mean, it can do things, but only one, because you are definitely trying to win with a Cyberstein more often than not in this deck. But the side deck is when you kind of go into a more standard Dimension Fusion, Reasoning Gate turbo deck. So you have one Blowback Dragon, you have a Faith you can put in or not, one Morphing Jar, Sacred Crane, Sinister Serpent, 2 Book of Moon, 2 more Dimension Fusion, Lightning Vortex, Monster Reincarnation, Ring of Destruction, and Royal Decree. That's the deck profile for you all. You can see the extra deck, but I mean, you can always add cards, so it doesn't really matter. You just gotta make sure you have, like, the Master of Oz. King Dragoon sometimes comes in handy when you play Chaos. Other than that, they're all just, like, the best effect monsters that you can kind of get. Thank you all for watching. I am the YuGiOh Scrub. I will be talking to you again in the future in another video. Goodbye.